Hi you guys, welcome, välkomna, добро пожаловать. My name is Samantha Rogers. Today it's Friday and that means another True Crime Stories with Sal. Hope everyone is feeling good, had a great week. I hope you guys had a safe Memorial Day weekend, by the way. And we've been boiling here in Los Angeles. It's been way too hot, like around almost 40 Celsius and like in the hundreds and 90s if Fahrenheit. So it's been hot. So I've been literally staying away from the sun as much as possible. I know in my 20s I used to love tanning. I would probably be at the beach frying myself, but as you get older, you need to take care of your skin if I do want to look like this for another 20 years. So let me grab a quick sip before we start. Just want to quickly do a disclaimer. I will be talking about domestic violence, and I know that fortunately a lot of us have been through some form of domestic violence, and it could be still lingering inside, and some people haven't dealt with the trauma and pain yet. So if this is a trigger warning for you, please click out of this video, and I hope I see you in the next one. This case is also a very good reminder that not everything you see on social media, especially Instagram, is reality. And also that the stereotype that, domestic violence is usually the woman is the victim and the man is the abuser. Of course, unfortunately, mainly it is that way, but men can also be the victim. So without any further ado, let's jump into today's case. Today's case takes place very, very recently, actually this year, April 3rd of 2022. And the place this case took place in is in Miami, Florida. I'm going to discuss the case of Courtney Clenney and Christian Obumseli. At the time of this case, Courtney is 25 and Christian is 27. So let's start with Courtney first. So Courtney is 25. She is a social media influencer. She had, I believe now, over 2 million followers on Instagram. She also is very popular on OnlyFans. And she has a YouTube channel. She doesn't post there anymore, I believe, but when she did, it was back in 2015. She started off with like posting fitness videos and giving tips or what have you. She's also been featured in a few music videos, and I think she also was featured in a short film. She's typical, like what people would call her, typical social media girl. She, has the look, she has the body, she has the personality, and she easily wins followers over, especially men. She had a lot of male followers on Instagram and, of course, OnlyFans page. Now let's talk a little bit about Christian. And Christian was 27 years old at the time of this case, and he was actually into cryptocurrency. He was very good at it, according to his family and friends. So that was his kind of like full-time job. He was also very into sports. He was playing American football in college, so he was, very athletic, also great body, great personality, very outgoing. So no wonder that these two, clicked and hit it off right away. Now, unfortunately, I could not find how long or when the two of them met. But I could find that they actually, before they moved to Miami, they lived in Texas together, in LA, and then after LA, they moved to Miami. So I'm assuming that they both are originally from Texas. That's where they met. And according to Christian's and Courtney's close friends, their relationship was very, very toxic, to say the least. They literally fought and argued on a weekly basis. They could be like, 2 good days, and then the rest of the week is just fights and breakups and back together and breaking up again. So they were very on and off very, very often. As a matter of fact, at each apartment that they stayed at, they got a noise complaint, or, like people called the police because they heard fights and screams coming from their apartment. So there were no strangers to, noise complaints, to neighbors complaining to the management. At one of the apartment that Christian and Courtney shared together, the manager came out and said that they were actually considering to evict them. Speaking of reports, Courtney was no stranger to the police. She actually have two police reports against her. As far as I could find, one was driving under the influence, and the other one was misdemeanor report filed against her. January of this year, so January of 2022, the couple moved into a luxurious sky-rise building in Miami, Florida. And not long after they moved in, neighbors already start complaining against this couple, that they've been hearing fights, they've been hearing screams, they've been hearing loud thuds, or what have you. Mind you, in those type of buildings, especially like luxury condo buildings, they put good money into, the wall system. So they make sure that the walls are pretty isolated. So it's not like those walls that are basically, like I say, call it built with plastic in like cheaper apartments, where you can literally hear your neighbor doing his or her business in the restroom in their apartment. So this apartment had a good, isolation system, so you can not hear your neighbor that clear. But if the neighbor were able to hear them, they must have been super loud. Footage was also captured by the security cameras in the building, and this is a footage that actually is going to be used in court against Courtney. I'm going to play this footage. It's like a 1 minute and 4 seconds, I believe, or yeah, a little bit over 1 minute. And yeah, I just want to play this so you guys kind of get a little, a view of their fight. So here's the video. According to the couple's friends, Courtney is typically known for this type of behavior. She is the violent one in the family, in the relationship. She's the one that always, kind of like resolves the fights physical. She, after start argument, first it's verbal, and then she start to get physical. And it is one neighbor that also has spoken out, claiming that he's seen from his balcony window, what have you, seen the couple fighting, and he seen Christian hitting Courtney in the face. Of course, behind closed doors, we don't know what happened. We cannot judge. We cannot say for sure who did what, and who hit the other person more than the other, what have you. Behind closed doors, people, act differently. One thing I do know for sure is that no one deserves to be hit. No one deserves to lose their life over some bullshit. And, the fights that you have with your significant other is most likely some bullshit that you guys can laugh about later. So shortly after the elevator fight, Courtney kicked Christian out. This brings us close to the fatal day of April 3rd. So let's start with April 1st. So April 1st, Christian is still doesn't live with Courtney. He lives somewhere else, maybe stays at some friends or what have you. And Courtney's mother is actually visiting Courtney from Texas, so she's staying at the apartment with Courtney. And on April 1st, Courtney's mom flew back to Texas. And on that day, Christian actually returned back to the apartment, and they kind of like reconcile, and he, moved back in. So that was a Friday. So Sunday, April 3rd, it started like any other Sunday. They play with their dogs. I'm going to also play a video of Courtney going live on her Instagram. And this is literally like an hour or less than an hour before the incident happened.
Okay, I got Subway. I'm gonna ditch. I'm gonna go hit my puff and then eat my sandwich because I just can't hit it in front of you guys. It's just not acceptable. So I'm gonna do that and eat. So I'm gonna do an OF live tonight. So if you want me to answer a question, just like put it on my last post. Lost my voice. Put it on my last post. And I will see it. All right. Thank you guys. Love you.
So shortly after she's done with the video, Christian comes back home with sandwiches. I'm putting on the timeline on screen right now. Basically, Christian comes home right after she is done filming. So she started around 4 p.m. And then before she started filming, she called him. And then around 4:30, Christian came back with some Subway sandwiches. And that's the sandwiches that she is recalling or talking about in her Instagram live video, by the way. And then as you guys can see, she called her mom in between 4:33 and then up to 4:57. And that's the time when after she called her mom twice, she calls 911. And according to the 911 call, you can hear Christian in the back saying that he's dying. He can't feel anything in his arm, and he is dying. And you can hear Courtney say, "I'm so sorry, baby." As soon as the ambulance and the police arrived, they rushed Christian to the hospital for emergency surgery, but unfortunately he passed away on the way to the hospital. There is a TMZ video footage that you guys can YouTube, Google it, whatever. If you put in Courtney's name and just put TMZ footage, it's basically her sitting in the bedroom, looks like the bedroom, and she is covered from head to toe with blood, and that I'm assuming is Christian's blood, and the police is like talking to her. According to Courtney, this was in self-defense. They were having a heated argument, and Christian attacked her, and then she ran to the kitchen and grabbed a knife and threw it at him from 10 feet apart. But according to the autopsy report that was later done on Christian, his stab wound was kind of like in the back shoulder, and it was 3 to 4 inches deep. So I don't know if Courtney was a perfectionist at knife throwing, what have you, but if you throw a knife at 10 feet apart away and it hits someone and it gets deep in, like 3 inches deep in your body, like, I don't know, that just doesn't sound too believable. And according to the person that did the autopsy, it looked more like a thrust, like a downward thrust. So someone took the knife and literally like dug it in deep in, 3 inches deep in his shoulder. And unfortunately, that hit one of his main arteries, and he died of blood loss. Now, on the scene of the crime, Courtney, the only thing that was shown on Courtney was basically Christian's blood. She was covered in his blood, like I mentioned before, but no other indications of her being attacked or strangled, or she didn't have any bruises, she didn't have any attack marks or what have you. So 3 days after Courtney was seen grabbing some drinks at the hotel bar, together with her dad. And I don't know about you guys, but if you just, your boyfriend just died, okay? And you going in and you going to a bar, grabbing some drinks with your dad, I don't know. After that, Courtney was flown to Hawaii to actually go on a treatment facility for post traumatic stress and also for substance abuse. And it was at this facility on August 10th that she was finally arrested and charged for second-degree murder of her boyfriend, Christian Obumseli. And this came as a huge relief for Christian's family and loved ones because they've been fighting so hard these past few months since this happened on April 3rd to have Courtney arrested and have some sort of justice for Christian. Just for 1 second, let's just, kind of like reverse this. Let's say that this was the other way around. Christian stabbed Courtney to death and claimed that it was self-defense, okay? I don't think that he would be out and about with his dad grabbing drinks at a bar, or that he would be in some luxurious facility having treatment in Hawaii. I think that he would be sitting behind bars from the day that this happened till now, basically. Another thing that I wanted to mention is the way Christian's family found out about his passing. The authorities didn't contact them. The actual morgue, like the people that was performing the autopsy, realized that he is a healthy, young, athletic man and that his organs are perfect to be donated. So that's the way his family basically found out that the morgue called and said, "Hey, is it okay for us to donate your son's organs?" And they were like, "What are you talking about?" And the hospital like, "Oh, you guys didn't know? He passed away. Yeah, he was stabbed to death, and it's all over the news here in Miami." That's how Christian's family found out about his passing. So for now, Courtney is being held without a bond. She was first held in Hawaii, and then they flew her back to Miami. She's in jail in Miami right now, awaiting a trial date, and she's held without bond. And of course, her lawyer, claims it's self-defense, and he actually spoke out about the video that I showed you guys, the elevator footage, that he says that this is an irrelevant footage and should not be used as evidence in court. It has nothing to do with that fateful day of August 3rd. But I don't know about you, but clearly that lawyer has never been in an abusive relationship or had someone abused him. That video is a perfect example and shows exactly who Courtney Clenney or Courtney Taylor is behind closed doors, behind the camera, behind the makeup, behind all of that. This is her real personality. I do also want to quickly mention that so when Courtney lived in LA in 2017, she was actually a frequent gym goer. Like I said, she had her fitness page on YouTube and, showed various workouts or what have you. So she was working out at Gold's Gym. During the time when she was at Gold's Gym, she was actually training to compete in bodybuilding, and that's how she became involved with this man who is now a former bodybuilder, but back in 2017, he was, actively performing on stage in various bodybuilding competition shows or what have you. So first he was her trainer, and then they became romantically involved. And in 2017, when he was, about to perform for his own bodybuilding show, he had a broken jaw, and he actually performed with a broken jaw. He had to drink his protein shakes, his meals, all with a straw. And later came to find out that Courtney Clenney was behind that broken jaw. First, they said that he was in a car accident or what have you, but then it was revealed that she was actually, she broke his jaw because he was actually cheating on his own wife. He had a wife and a child, and Courtney found out that he was lying. He'd been lying to both of the women, and she basically uppercut him and broke his jaw. Now, I know some people are going to say, yeah, that serves him right. He's a cheater. He's an asshole. Sure, he is an asshole. He's a cheater. But that just also goes to show that this type of physical violence is not a stranger to Courtney. So this is where we at in this case, my dear friends. We don't have a trial date yet, but I will definitely, be on a lookout, and I'm very, very curious to see what will happen, and if she would be found guilty, she would probably face life in prison. Like I said in the beginning of this video, this is a perfect example that, domestic violence is not always a man against a woman. It could easily be a woman as the abuser as well. No one deserves this type of treatment, and definitely not losing their own life over some insignificant. I bet you their fight that day was something so stupid that they could easily just laugh about later. But yeah, and also I could not find what the fights between the couple was about. Some people speculate that it's because, Christian might have been jealous because of her Instagram fame, and that she had an OnlyFans page or what have you. Maybe he was not okay with that. So it's just speculation. We don't know. More information might come out once the trial starts, which, yeah, I'm very curious to see and, follow up. But yeah, what do you guys think about this case? Do you feel like it was self-defense, or did she kill him in just anger and rage? Also, good example of, please don't take everything you see on social media to heart and serious. Some people are, very good at disguising their real personality, and unfortunately, this is not the first time that domestic violence between influential couple have happened and ended up in murder. So all of these, and also these people, most of them are very, very young. They're still in their 20s. Most of these people making tons of money, and they don't know what to do with it. So they just, spend it on alcohol, drugs, partying, living luxurious life just for show, just to, get some likes, just to get some views. And most of these people are, don't care about their mental health. And that's the first thing that you should do. If you have money, if you have resources, and you know that you are suffering from some type of mental health, depression, or anger issues, what have you, instead of spending money on alcohol and drugs, or living in luxurious condos, spend the money on yourself. Get yourself treatment, not when it's too late, not when you already murdered someone, but get it while you know that you need it. Especially if you have anger issues, you have a few prior arrests, you have, people telling you that you have anger issues, that you're violent. Don't let it go out of hand. I know I went on a rant there, sorry, but it's a lot I could say about this case, and I truly, truly sorry. My heart goes out to Christian's family, friends, loved ones, and I hope that they get the justice that they deserve, that he deserves, that the family deserves. Please stay respectful in the comments. Don't write anything you would not say to your grandma, okay? So we never know who's reading or watching this case, the story. Please keep it respectful. Love you guys. Thank you for staying with me this long. And if you have stayed with me this long throughout the video, please share, like, and subscribe. It helps out my channel tremendously. Hope to see you guys next Friday. Ciao, cacao.